Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another creator podcast with AGP. I am your host, as always. I am Amanda Gilliam, the owner-operator of AGP. Now, this podcast is a long time in the making. I have scoured the world. I have dug in deep. I have done everything, including begged and pleaded. And finally, through the great powers of the cosmos, the hardest working man in comics finally said, hey, can we do this on a Friday? The one, the only, Victor Dandridge.
Hello. How's everyone doing out there in the Twitterverse, Twitchverse, Facebook, YouTube, all the places that people could be watching, checking this out? Why, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for getting me up before noon.
You are very, very welcome. I don't know if you really mean that, but you are absolutely welcome.
You know me, I'm always working anyway. I just normally work till like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then
Right.
my mom texts me at 9. Are you going to get up today? I was like, I set the alarm at 8.
I set it for tomorrow. Does that count? Yeah. No, I was super excited to do this. In fact, I was literally up till 2 o'clock this morning, like a little kid waiting for Christmas to roll around. Because I'm like, what are we going to talk about? I think I know. It's crazy.
It's you and I. So yeah, there's things that we're going to talk about.
Of course.
Lord only knows what else we're going to talk about.
I mean, I'm just saying, how long you got? Because you know me, I'm a talker.
I don't have a live stream for another 12 hours. So.
Okay, don't play with me. That's not like a challenge. I got some water too.
Baby, come on. This is all Twitch. So you know it. They're like, oh yeah, keep going. It's
Let's
all
go.
right.
Let's go then. I'm not worried.
Cassie goes, talk about everything.
Everything? Oh, we can do that. My everything is a lot. So let's go.
Well, it's really funny how I finally got you because it was like the most random thing. All I was doing was congratulating you because you got to do something that I would love to do someday. And you got to moderate celebrity panels for New York City Comic Con.
Yes. That was a lot of fun. Repop put together a metaverse event. I don't think that this one was to supplement New York. I think this one was to supplement Keystone and or Emerald City. Like I think it was a combination of those two. Rumor has it that they might have another online event coming that's supposed to sit in the place of New York. So fingers crossed I get to do it again. But man, that was so much fun. So much fun.
I mean, how did you get to do that? Whose family did you kidnap and put in your basement to be able to do something like that?
Statute of limitations aren't up yet, so I can't really answer that. But no, I was very fortunate. It's funny because I was just talking about it. Like I've got a great relationship with the folks at Repop from top to bottom. Like there's a lot of people in the mix. Some of the few that I have to shout out: Mike Negan, Chris Delando, my homegirl Annie Burns. Like these are all folks that I love, and they're awesome people that I've met in my career. Annie I just met during this event, but it's funny because I've been doing celebrity moderating for 4 years now, and I believe I was at a show doing a moderation and Mike saw it. Mike happened to be there at that show. And I want to say I was working with Danny Trejo and he came up to me afterwards and was like, bro, I didn't know you were that good at this. And like, you know, he kind of put a pin in it, took a mental note. And I actually got to moderate last year for a couple folks. It was kind of a last minute thing, but they, you know, put something together. And I worked with Summer Glau. I worked with George Perez and Marv Wolfman, Jason Fabok. So like from celebs in, you know, TV and film to also comic book legends, I've worked with everybody. So yeah, it was amazing. Which one did you see?
I definitely tuned in for the Doctor Who one.
I got so many calls of how did you do this? And I was like, they asked me to, and I said, yeah.
I'm just wondering how many people are like, but you got to talk to. Oh my gosh, she's so. And I'm going, it's Matt Smith. It's the Doctor, guys. Come on, it's the Doctor.
What's amazing is his house is a church, or it was a church before he bought it and renovated it and turned it into a house. So like we had the hardest time trying to figure out where he could sit, where there wasn't like this crazy source of like godlike light behind him. And it was crazy because it was like, he's like, well, if I sit here, and he like moved the camera and it was like this angelic glow and he kind of disappears and you're like, wow, you are in a church and you're also Jesus. So like, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
You really are the Doctor. Look at you.
I'm watching you regenerate right now. This is crazy.
Then again, I mean, it's a safe place. I mean, he built his house in a church.
Right.
Okay, all the evil people will never be able to enter my domain.
I don't even need the sage. I don't even need the sage. You just can't enter. Like, this is hallowed ground. So, sorry.
Mando walks in, bursts into flames. I got to see for a brief second.
This is my idea of heaven as I die. No, that happens. That happens. But no, it was a lot of fun. I got to work with a ton of people. Some of the cast members from Picard. I actually got like.
I gotta find that one.
Oh my god, it was so much fun. I had a one-on-one with the creator of a show called Tiny Creatures. It's now on Netflix, and it's like animals, but like with a narrative played behind it and how they're interacting in certain environments. That was fascinating. Actually, the funny thing about that one was I had to do that panel before the show actually dropped on Netflix. So I couldn't see it, because it wasn't available yet. So we're just, having a great conversation. But I had people message me like, man, how did you see it before us? And I was like, I didn't. It was like, I would have thought you had seen it already. And I'm like, nope. I'm a great poker player.
One of the things when it comes to podcasting or moderating panels, if you can have a great conversation and just have the conversation, you can get anything you need out of them without knowing anything about it.
Absolutely. In fact, most people want to talk about this stuff as though you don't know. So it works.
I've seen those episodes, Tiny Animals. The hamster was particularly brave.
He was. Oh my God. I was so worried for him. So worried.
I'm sorry. Somebody says that she has to be part of the podcast.
Well, hello.
This is Fizzgate.
That's what happens when we're talking about tiny animals. Boom.
She's my miniature Chihuahua Pomeranian mix.
Love.
And she's evil. She's a little lamb piranha.
Sure. Evil. That's what you say. We know the truth.
Trust me.
We know the truth. Look at her giving the kisses. No one who kisses like that could be evil.
She loves her mom. People she doesn't know. Oh my God. People talk about, pit bulls and boxers. Is like, no, you got to see it. You don't know it.
That's every child everywhere. I love my mama over everybody. That's just how it is. It's how people do.
It's just funny. She either instantly likes you or she instantly doesn't. And if she doesn't like you, you will never be able to touch her. She doesn't care.
She's like, no, I don't. You have a treat? I don't care about your treats. What do I need that for?
And she's gotten really spoiled since mom quit her job and she decided to work from home. So when I'm gaming or anything, she's like, I'm right here. This is where I belong. This is how I game.
That's the space.
This is how I'm gaming.
I mean, everybody has to have a handicap in some way, shape, or form. So, it's what makes it fair for the other players.
But you've been doing, you've always done very well, especially, I was there when you broke off from your 8 bits into your comics.
Yes.
You've always done very well. But you've been staying extremely busy, even during these times when we don't have conventions to do anything. I see your name everywhere.
You don't get to call yourself the hardest working man in comics and not have that happen. So yes, I am definitely busy. There's been a lot of projects that I've been a part of lately that I haven't even talked about in a big bad way. Literally on Tuesday, we just wrapped up the second installment of a superhero therapy project that I've been a part of, where in conjunction with the Care Coalition, which is a part of Columbus Public Health and Columbus Parks and Rec, and funded by Nationwide Children's Hospital, which is our huge children's hospital. This is our second go round of doing a 6-week therapy session, helping kids learn how to deal with trauma through the use of comic books and superheroes. And it was inspired by the work of Dr. Janina Scarlett, who is a immigrant from from Eastern Europe. I want to say she's from, and she did work with. She started with vets and PTSD and looking at the trauma of superheroes and stuff like that. And we kind of latched onto some of her work and included some of our own. And I got to basically build the workbook for this one using the U Cre-8 line. So it was a lot of fun and working with, urban kids, specifically young Black males on the idea of how to identify trauma. And it's such a crazy, beautiful thing to do because most of the time we don't, as guys, we don't get to talk about our feelings. As Black men, we really don't talk about our feelings, not at all. So to start at a young age and say, hey, it's all right if you feel, a little messed up by anything. You know, everybody experiences trauma. So that was a tremendous experience. Like I said, we just finished that one up on Tuesday.
Right. And I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's kind of scary that people feel, you know, if they suffer from PST or any type of trauma or any type of mental disability or mental issues, they can't talk about it because there's a lot of people out there who goes, yeah, right, you're just doing it for the attention. And that's just really sad. PTSD. Yes, I know what I said. Don't correct me.
I was with you. I knew what you meant.
Thank you. It's before noon, okay? And I'm up.
I was going to say, where's the coffee at? It hasn't kicked in yet. I get it. Exactly. That's what mine is too. Coffee. But yeah, you know, like having these kids, and obviously, you know, 2020 has been traumatic as hell for everybody, but this was really kind of a, you know, general life experience, things that could be traumatic kind of thing. I've done quite a few live panels with Wizard World. This is, you know, open up another opportunity where, you know, I'm back working with them, doing live panels. I've worked with General Hospital last week, and that was crazy. Like I teased, and it's only kind of a tease, that I was this close to being named Luke, because the whole Luke and Laura thing was so huge when my parents got married. But you know, that was a crazy, like, generational thing to be a part of and talk to those guys. I've worked with I mean, so many people, like the cast of The Nanny. That was crazy. Who all did I work with on this one? Oh my God, with the Wizard World ones, we've done so many. It's hard for me to remember who all I've worked on. But needless to say, like, it's been a tremendous experience. You can definitely check those out on their Facebook page, their YouTube page, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, doing these panels keeps me busy, keeps me moving. I got an upcoming event, Comic Book in a Day. That's on the 29th. It's myself and a number of other feature creators, Yuri Duncan, Stuart Sager. We were invited to, or invited by Nickel Plate Art as sort of like a day challenge, we'll call it, for participants to create a comic, an 8-page comic in one day. And we're the featured artists that kind of help encourage the kids that are doing it, or participants, because it's not just kids. And then for the virtual setup that we're having to do this year, because we normally have to go to Indiana to do it, we're actually doing a week build-up. So I have my build-up presentation on Monday, where I'm talking about, like, what is a comic? Like, there's a lot of people that have this idea of what comics are, but they have no idea what it actually is. And we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, man, not knowing what a comic is. I remember those days.
Right? Like, it was a Tuesday, and then it was gone. Like, because comics are everything. There's my whole life.
I mean, yeah, you know, comics are the reason why I read.
Right. Me too.
I hate books. Like, I really hate books.
Preach it. Preach.
I suffer from ADHD, and sitting down and not being able to move drives me insane. So, you know, doing this, having a conversation with you is one thing, being able to play video games, but a book, I'm just sitting there reading. I'm not moving.
Right.
And so I got introduced to comics through things like the He-Man comics, the G.I. Joe comics, because, these are shows that I watch and the toys that I play. Stop. And this is actually one of the ways that and Sesame Street are the two ways I learned how to read.
I respect it completely. Yeah. If it wasn't for the death of Superman, I probably would not have picked up many books in my life. But, you know, that was something that was interesting. I wanted to read it. How do you kill Superman? I want to read that. You know, hit people where they're interested. So, yeah, I love pushing that agenda. I want people to be reading all the time.
Which, I mean, and guys, he creates comics too.
I do.
Matter of fact, he has an amazing superhero comic that I've given rave reviews about over and over again, The Samaritan.
Yes.
Which it is a superhero comic, but it really dives into really urban America and the things that are going on in it. And Victor, you take it from here and tell everybody a little bit about it.
First of all, I gotta say, like, the timing of this is so crazy. The memory of your review just popped up like the other day, which is so crazy that we're here talking about it right now. Like, literally, I think it was like Wednesday, it just popped up. It's so crazy. But no, the Samaritan that I did with Ren McKenzie, shout out to my brother. You can actually see the poster for it over my shoulder here. Is inspired by Unbreakable and Roadhouse. Like, you take those two concepts and put them together. So you got this guy, urban superhero, no costume, no code name. He goes by Smith, who just goes to crime-ridden neighborhoods and starts systematically cleaning them up. And in this series, he visits this one neighborhood that's particularly bad, and through it, he engages with the community, different people in the community, and tries to encourage them to take responsibility for the situations that they're in. Every person that he encounters is more responsible for the plight that they're in, and he's trying to encourage them to move beyond it. Now, if you don't move beyond it with his subtle pushing, then he will remove you very, very harshly if he has to. That's just the way it is. But Smith is like a fun character where he is the only person with superpowers as we see it in this universe, and he's just kind of going around trying to help.
Right. And again, one of the things that I love about you and your work is you not only write these amazing characters, but a lot of your stuff shows a side that a lot of people like me may not have ever seen, urban America and what it's really like to be someone of a different color. And it's great that you have these comics that are that can entertain anybody of any gender, race, age, yet it still shows a very important message, which has really been highlighted within this year.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. And thank you for that. Thank you a lot. What's really interesting is in 2015, I got on the Wizard World tour like the year before, and they elevated me up to a point where I didn't have as much of a risk by just focusing on books, which is when I made the transition to away from the 8-bit stuff. And during that year, I did like variant covers of the Samaritan for each of the cities that we went to on that tour. And what was crazy was the response from people all over the country that could relate to that urban idea, from Madison, Wisconsin to Portland, Oregon to New Orleans. Like, people were like really understanding what this story could be and had the idea that it could happen here. Like, this could be, just a couple blocks over or around the corner from where I live. And I think that resonated with a lot of people in places that you wouldn't have expected. Like, my first sellout of that series was in Madison, Wisconsin. Like, how many Black people do you think are actually in Madison, Wisconsin? Like 5. Like, it literally sold out, and it was great. It was wonderful to have people appreciate the story, the value of the story, and relate to it.
Right. And, I think it's really important when it comes to media today that there is something to represent everybody. Not to force it onto people, because forcing is only going to make people want to reject it, back off, and walk away from it. But if you focus on the story and the characters, that other stuff will bleed through, and it'll make it easier for people to understand more. And I think that's what your comics really do. You don't shove it in your face. This is an African American in the ghetto. No, it bleeds through. This is Smith. This is who he is. And he happened to come across these powers, and this is what he does. You focus on who the character is and what the story is, and let everything else bleed through to where people just go, I didn't. It's like when they read it a second time, holy crap, why didn't I see that? And I think that's so important when you're creating anything.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. When you're preaching at people, you can miss the mark very well. What I aim for, okay, I don't know if you guys noticed on Twitch, but I'm Black. Don't run away. But
when
like,
the hell did that happen? Hold on, let me adjust some things here.
That's right. Being a Black creator is what I am, not who I am. And that has affected things as to what kind of stories I tell, how I present stories. And so what is important to me in the conversation of diversity is having stories that can be relatable to multiple people, even if you don't directly look like the person on the page. I think that's very important. Yes, it is, representation has its place, but I think it's also important to see yourself in people that don't look anything like you. I think that's how we'll find commonality amongst others. And it always reminds me of a conversation I had years ago with a lady who said that she never let her son read comics because they didn't have anything for a young Black man to learn. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, that's absolutely wrong. Forgive me for intruding on your parenting, but that was wrong. And, she tried to throw out a couple things. And the last one that she tried to throw out was Batman. And her idea was, what could a rich white guy teach my son? And I said, you're looking at it wrong. He is a survivor of gun violence to family members. Tell me that doesn't affect the Black community. And like, she hadn't even thought to consider Batman in that perspective. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say, you know, here's a character that you might like for any number of reasons, but for all these other reasons, he could actually appeal to other people, and it's fine.
Right. You know, wanting to, let's take Smith, for example, wanting to help his community, wanting, you know, just wanting to be there and do something to really make a change. That speaks to a lot of people. Anybody who goes, I actually have the power to make a change and do something good for not just my community, but for the whole of humanity. That speaks to hundreds of people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Another fun fact about Smith that is not prevalent in the story is he's gay. And no one really knows this. Like, this,
know that.
No one really does, because, and that's the thing, like you said, it's not forced diversity. It didn't have a place in the story, so there was no point to say it in the story. The only like slight reference to it is in issue 5 when Nita, the very open, loving, you know, character, offers to thank him, and he says, no, I'm good. His refusal or dismissal of it or rejection of it can be read multiple ways. And of course, me being the writer and knowing where things were, I knew why he absolutely said no. Obviously, you can read and go, well, he just, you know, isn't interested, or maybe, you know, her past behaviors he's leery of. But the truth is, he's not attracted to women. So it was not a necessity to say that in that story. So I didn't, you know, it wasn't the point. But what will really be, you know, something very interesting to me, and I hope I don't see this happen, is that people that claim to be fans of the series, when this does become a part of the narrative, how they will react to Smith. Will they still uplift him? Will they still enjoy his story? Because if not, this is more about you and your dismay of this character than anything else. You know, he's still the same guy. He's been the hero that you've loved. So why does it matter? Sorry,
the look on my face is how can you like some? I will never understand how you can like somebody and then, oh, well, I'm gay, or oh, I'm an atheist, or oh, I'm this. They're still the same person.
Still the same person.
They've always been that person.
Right.
It makes no sense. Why?
Absolutely. So we will be challenging people with that.
I now need issue 5 because I didn't get that one. I only have.
You get issue 5?
I have 1 through 4.
Oh, we got to send that to you. I got a trade paperback. I'll send it to you as soon as we're done.
I love when people are surprised by someone's sexual orientation. It's almost like gay people are just like anyone.
It's so true. It's like, wait, you're supposed to be this presentation of flamboyance or this, that, and the other. You're not? How do I even understand life?
It's amazing. Oh, well, you're this, so you're supposed to act. Can we stop stereotyping people?
Right? Oh, my goodness. That's one of my pet peeves. I get it all the time. People, oh, you're so articulate. I learned English and I speak it. I don't know why that's difficult. You know, I get it all the time.
Yeah, I know that. It's frustrating,
of course,
and disgusting at the same time. It does seem to bother me. But you know what? You know what is uplifting though?
Yes.
Absolutely uplifting is the amazing comic that you were doing with Justin Castaneda.
Yes,
What Matters.
Yes. That one, it's from our Wonder Care series. Wonder Care presents the Kindergartens, our all ages Muppet Babies meets the Justice League series. And definitely like a fan favorite. We actually won the Space Prize for a webcomic. And that was amazing unto itself. And with this series, we've had like tremendous fun just telling stories. But as you know, 2020 hit, COVID is happening, George Floyd is killed, Ahmaud Arbery is killed, or that we know about it. Justin, who lives in Chicago area in Illinois, he texts me and he's like, yo, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good, man. How are you? And he's like, dude, I'm not doing well, you know, and we're talking about it. And he's like, you know, this stuff has me frustrated. I have all these feelings and I want to say something. I just don't know what to say, you know, and he's like, he's running it down. He's opening up his whole heart. And I appreciated that on every level. Justin is also a person of color.
And an amazing and loving.
Oh my God. He is a joy.
Sorry.
Him, his wife Nicole, love
Believe
them.
it or not, you just saying all those things, I'm tearing up. So excuse me.
But I totally understand. And it's so heartfelt. I totally get it. But listening to him wanting to voice something and feeling so arrested, like he didn't know what to do. You know, we're obviously in the middle of a pandemic at the time, so yes, he wants to protest, but he knows that that's, you know, dangerous too, and all these different things. He's like, but we have this unique platform of these kids. What can we do? And I'm like, as he's talking, story is just happening in my head, and literally I sit down, I write out what matters, the story. And it's like, normally with Wonder Care, we actually do 8-page short stories, because we aim for a younger readership audience, and we don't want to, just as you said, have a kid have to sit there for a long time. We're getting in there, telling a succinct story, and then getting out. With this one, it was only 4 pages, so it was half as much story, but the turnaround time was literally a week from when we had the conversation to when that book came out. And it was insane. Like we were both firing on all cylinders, because we were personally moved by telling the story. I was moved, one, because he was absolutely right. We should say something. We have a responsibility to, you know, those around us. I have children. I need to be able to say something and show that, you know, this is where I stand on this. And this is, you know, even beyond what I've told you behind closed doors, I want you to see it out loud. This is where I stand. Him needing to say something himself, we had to do this. And we did What Matters, and we used the kids to explain what it means to say Black Lives Matter, to not, you know, necessarily, you know, state the organization or even make the statement, but to show what it means. Because me as a writer, words have value, but they have very little value when said. Actions are everything, because you could say anything and it doesn't mean anything. So we wanted to show what Black Lives Matter actually means. And we had like the greatest setup, like the characterization of these young kids, the kindergartens, and how they would kind of pick sides without knowing. Like, it's not even like, you know, they're indoctrinated by their parents to think one kind of way. They are looking at things from this worldview that they thought that they understood, and then it's getting challenged. And there's a lot of people out there that felt that way, and it became a great talking point tool to share and get people, especially people that aren't persons of color, to read it and have an understanding that they didn't get. You know, I had quite a few people that were under the impression of, you know, don't all lives matter? And then we'd have a conversation after they read it, and they go, now I see why it's important to specify, because if all lives matter, if all lives matter, then you should have no problem with a marginalized group specifying that they're included in that. And as long as you have that, you know, mentality, you can get behind it. It becomes that much easier to support that need, you know, 100%. It was a great experience to make that book, though.
I want, by the way.
Yes. I don't have any physical copies yet. We're going to make some of those. We went digital first and allowed it to be a charitable donation platform. So I had it on my site where it was free on my site. I just asked you to find an organization that you cared about that you could support and donate to. Justin, very wisely, he charged, it still does, it's available right now, so definitely check out his site. He charges $5 for his, and then donates the proceeds to different organizations. And he does a different organization every month. I think the first one, last month it was Youth Guidance in Chicago, which is a youth-oriented spot. What all do they? Oh my goodness! Now I can't remember.
By the way, you got an amen from that.
Hey, thank you so very much. But yeah, Justin brilliantly is using it as a platform for change. So we made this story. We tried to, you know, help people, and that's what we were all about.
Right. And I think it's really important that you did do it, especially, you know, you and Justin doing it with a kids comic with kids. Because, guys, hate to break this to you, kids aren't born with racism or any of that. They're born completely naive, and they just go, oh, he likes He-Man too, I'm gonna go play with him.
Yes.
Or she likes this and I'm gonna go play with her. And
yes,
this conversation is worth waking up for us.
that's right. Man. You can't sleep on this.
Yeah, did you see her comment? A podcast of diversity and inclusion. I'm so happy that I got on this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, because I'm white. I have privileges.
Right.
End of story. Right. Are they the same privileges as that white person? No.
Right.
My privileges are pretty much, well, other than driving and not having to worry about going to jail because I have a broken tail light.
Right.
You know, I grew up in poverty. I grew up, you know, so there are things that I understand. There's things that I have witnessed to African Americans and other ethnic races growing up where I did, where, you know, I got in trouble because being one out of 4 white people at my school and one of them being a teacher, I got lice a lot because you don't get lice as often as I do being white.
No, it's true. It's true. Because there's a whole thing. The follicles of our hair is different. What we put in our hair is different. So there's a ton of things. You're absolutely right.
But, you know, so, you know, having something that shows, look, guys, you know, when I first went to an all white school and I saw an African-American kid come to the school and how they were treated, I'm just like, what is the matter with you people? And I didn't understand. And it took me forever to realize that even though I came from these, I still have privileges because I am white. So there are things that I don't have to deal with that you, as my friend, has to deal with, which makes me disgusting. And if I ever see it, I will go to jail.
I love you so much. But I mean, and to be fair, let me speak on this. As a man, I have privileges that you don't have, you know, and that's a big thing, you know, in our industry. You know, how many men have shady past, come out with some very, very, and obviously I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, some very questionable behaviors versus the women of this industry. Like it's super lopsided. Yes, there are some women that are guilty of it. Absolutely.
Yes.
But the number of guys, huge. I'm not going to get the same level of harassment that you would.
No. And speaking on a subject we both know, you notice the women came out, but nothing was done. It's like we didn't even have a voice. What was the point? But if a bunch of guys came and said the same thing about this particular individual, it would have been a whole different.
Crazy. Would have been crazy. Crazy.
And, you know, it's like doing what I do. I feel that that I am mandated, not obligated or wanting to, but mandated that I have to make sure that my hair looks a certain way, that my makeup is done before I go live. Yet these men could be in quarantine and do the same thing that I'm doing.
I could have just rolled out of bed.
Right. You could have rolled out of bed. You could have never shaven this entire time in quarantine. And everybody be like, oh, Victor, you look so good. Amanda, you need to put on some lipstick.
See? Yeah. I'm over here. Look, we have made sweatpants sexy. Okay. That's privilege. Okay. Let me just keep that 100 because I know a lot of ladies that would love to just throw on some sweats, some baggy sweats, not the yoga pants, that super tight joints, some baggy sweats and just live their life. No. We got to come in on them. So privilege. And that's the thing for me to everyone that's listening, privilege does not mean that you do not struggle. It just means that there are certain things that automatically uplift you above other people's struggle that you don't ever have to deal with. You don't even have any sort of cognizance of it. In fact, I had, you know, a friend of mine in the community who reached out because of What Matters and was talking about how their daughter and my daughter hang out when we go to shows. Their daughter is not a person of color. And they wanted to express, like, they wanted to explain some things, you know, obviously, but at the same time, there were things that they didn't want to explain. And we were talking about the systemic racism, the systemic indoctrination of thought. And what I had to tell them was, that is what that is. You know, your ability to say, I don't want to explain this and be okay is exactly that indoctrination. And they were like, wow. I was like, right. I don't have the ability to not explain it. Like I have to explain it because it could affect my daughter, it could affect her brothers, her father, her mother. I have to explain the whole totality of the hell that this is so that she is aware that is what that is. And so just that conversation, you know, they came away feeling better, not lampooned under any circumstance, you know, and
that has my
vote. Seth, you're crazy. That's
No,
Seth Everett. That's the co-host of Hall of Justice podcast that I'm also on. So yeah, shout out to Seth. I can't believe you're up watching this, bro.
I'd vote for you, Victor. I'd vote for you in a heartbeat.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, I'm lucky because I know who you are, not just as the creator, but I've known you for 7 years now.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. God, where'd the time go? Where did the time go?
These clips will be used in his campaign. Well stated.
Thank you.
This is your platform. Go with it.
Listen. I'm ready. You know, but I'm just telling what the world needs to hear. It's the truth.
But I know you as a person. I mean, come on. How many people in the world do I get to save their children at a convention?
Yo, listen, this is why you be my running mate, because you legit saved my sons. This is 2013, Wizard World, Chicago. My kids are hungry. It's only me and my 2 sons at the table, and they're starving. Amanda walks. What is the total sum on that one? Is it 2 miles?
It's about 2 miles.
Yeah, 2 miles to go get like McDonald's for my kids. She walked to go get McDonald's for my kids. Like that's you're my running mate. 100%. 100%.
Or how about the time your daughter got lost at the expo?
Oh my God. Yes. Because she was out running around. She was in her own zone. Found very quickly, by the way. But Amanda, she had to put it down.
Oh my God. Your daughter, her and I'm going to take Amanda stuff. Hey.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because you had her with the leg warmers and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, if I was going to kidnap any of your kids, that's mine.
It's not kidnapping when they want to go. Amanda's going to steal you. Okay. Wait, what? You're going to fight it? All right, that's fine.
She ain't going to fight. Let's
go.
She loves her Aunt Amanda.
Yes, that's right. She is ready.
That's right. I am the mom.
Right.
I'd be your running mate. Dude,
see?
That would be awesome. You
Heck yeah.
Ice, dude.
Let's go.
By the way, we're closed for San Diego Comic-Con when it opens back up, though, because we're going.
I mean, we can do that, though. You know what I'm saying? We can take over San Diego. I'm not. We can do that.
I could just hit it. Okay. President's here.
That's exactly what I would do. Come on. I'm like, no, I just, presidential decree. I need 2 rows in Hall H. I can pop in whenever I want to. That would be how I would abuse my presidential powers to get an immediate access to Hall H. That's exactly what I would do.
Hell yeah.
That's right. See?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the country is shut down for this weekend. San Diego, California. Thank you. We'll see you when we take it back. Bye.
I'm just saying, I'm campaigning with my peoples. Let's go. I'm doing all the activations.
You would have I'm serious. If you ran, you'd have so many votes.
Oh my God. Thank you. But I would still be trying to moderate the celebrities. Mr. President. No. I want to ask you questions. How does it feel to be Superman? How's it feel to be the president? No. We don't care about that.
No, we want to talk about you. We'll do that. Oh my God. Can you imagine Amanda decorating the public office Cobra action figures on the resident?
Listen, it would be the greatest thing of all time. I'm on phone calls. She's doing like Cobra Commander voices. You know what I'm saying?
That's how the Oval Office is going to look, ladies.
Look, I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. We're like avoiding wars by sending over comic books to read, different shows to watch,
We declare war. Wait, no, here, watch this.
Wait. But listen. Did you see issue 36 when, when AIM tried to do this and the Avengers did that? We're the Avengers. You would be AIM. Do you really want to see exactly? Let's not.
Yeah, we got this. Now something that I got a little excited for because this is another comic that I've read.
Yes.
Trouble with Love. You're relaunching it as a
Yes, I am. Okay, so Third time's the freaking charm. Okay, so here's me being totally like, I'm not perfect under any circumstance. I don't understand crowdfunding very well. I really don't. It's a platform that is so new, and oddly, I don't feel as connected through it, but I know it has value. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to learn. So I did technically 2 Kickstarters for this, or 2 crowdfunding campaigns for this title last year. The first one was through Indiegogo, and me, again, not being a part of crowdfunding, I didn't know that Indiegogo was a haven for the Comicsgate community. So I had a lot of people, like, after I launched, that was like, hey, are you part of Comicsgate? I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, then I wouldn't use Indiegogo. And I'm like, well, now you tell me. I didn't even know that was a whole thing. So yeah, I learned. So not on Indiegogo. We tried on Kickstarter, but I do think that part of the issue was when I was running it. It was like kind of close to the holiday season. So I didn't think that was like a really good time. So I'm learning. What I'm aiming for, though, is, okay, so here's the trade paperback of The Trouble with Love. And it features Apex Prime, Thomas Smith here, and his son, John. And this is like a very personal story to me. So basically, Apex Prime is the world's greatest superhero. Think a Superman analog. He has a wife and a family, but then he falls in love with someone else. And the question becomes, like, what do you do, right? Like, in a really real human sort of way, what do you do when you are genuinely feeling a certain kind of way versus what you're committed to? And, obviously a lot of people are like, well, it's cheating and that's wrong and that's that. And you're like, well, it can be very simple if you want to look at it that way. But would you say the same thing is wrong about killing someone? And most people are like, yes, of course. And I said, okay, so say you're a pacifist, but someone is actively trying to hurt or kill your child. Would you put down your pacifism? Would you be mad at anyone who did? I personally could not. If you was coming after my baby, even if it was my fur baby,
you dead.
Yeah, we're going at it. Like, it's just what it is. So the whole thing was, a very father-son sort of story. Think of it in Star Wars terms. If instead of fighting, if Vader and Luke had a conversation, how interesting would that have been? Like, if Vader had explained that I went to the dark side, not because I was evil, but I was trying to save your mom. Luke would be like, so then what happened? Like, what went wrong? Well, the Emperor lied to me. And once I had gone, I was too far. I couldn't go back. But you have an opportunity to do better. But before you do better, help me kill this guy that lied to me about your mom. I think Luke would have been like, well, yeah, let's go strike him down right now. Like, let's ride. Like, I'm ready. Let's get the Emperor. So I think conversational books are very interesting. This is a different sort of superhero story. It's not fights and tights. It's conversational. So that's already different. But is the first part of what I'm calling the Affinity Gauntlet trilogy. So I'm trying to use this as marketing to prep for the launch of Never Too Late, which is the sequel, the long-awaited sequel to The Trouble with Love. So that's what we're doing. We're going to do a quick starter, a short 2-week one. Try to just do a small goal, $500 to $1,000, just to get you guys ready. And then I'm launching Never Too Late. So we got a plan.
By the way, I know two people who might be able to help you.
I know 2 people that I'm going to need some help from.
Because one of the sponsors of AGP just had a very successful one.
Which one?
Ascent Productions.
Sure did. I put in on that one. Come on now. Yes.
Oh, they're looking for 1,000. They got almost 3,000.
Yep. I'm all for that kind of interest dividend action. 100%. And so, yeah, like I want to try to figure out, how crowdfunding works. Make sure that I'm understanding it well. It's a tool. With any tool, there's going to be some, mistakes, some flubs, but I'm dedicated to keep trying to make this work, because I think that like crowdfunding is one of the biggest boons to indie publishing. And I want to be a part of that. I want to learn how to do it so I can teach others how to do it better than even I do. So
right.
That's always it.
Because that's one of the things I love about you is you take something that you learn and then you help and give it back.
Yeah. This doesn't belong to me.
You're not like, no, it's mine.
No. We shared a cookbook. In fact, like literally in terms of a cookbook, I am writing a Kickstarter plan book that, like, if this works, I'll publish this and let other people, read it, see how I went from a guy that was doing this poorly to someone who figured out some things, and give shout outs to the people that, you know, have helped me. Shout out to Comics Launch, Tyler James. He's got some brilliant ideas. Camilla Zahn, who used to work for Kickstarter. She was very kind. She looked over my previous campaign, gave me some notes. All those things are being implemented. So, you know, I grow from other people's help and interest. So it's only right that I pass that forward. So,
well, you need to let me know when this happens, and you and I need to work out a few things.
Okay. I mean, I'm aiming to launch it middle of September, so it's coming soon. So yeah, I'll bother you. I will be bothering you.
Because of anybody who is of multiple personalities on the interwebs, you
So
might
true.
want to talk to me.
So true. So true. Yeah, we're getting ready to launch a newsletter that I'll be sending out to everybody that's on my email list. So I apologize if you don't want it, but you get it first. But yeah, you're gonna see that. That's gonna be something I'm gonna start to do monthly, and we're gonna start it by saying that this is coming. So yes, like this is that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's Russell Allen. If you don't know who that is,
stellar. Yo, I totally understand that. Like I've had one successful one, and I'm very thankful for that. But I do think that what the Kickstarter campaign was kind of aided for its success. It was for the U Cre-8 line, and having bringing it to schools here in Central Ohio. And the best part about that, of course, was like it was being funded by people that would never see any of this actually happen, but giving, you know, the whole time had to be, you know, part of the secret sauce that people were all about. So when it's something that's a little bit more like kind of coming to me in order for me to give more stuff, I've still got to figure out ways to make that so much more enticing. So I'm working on it.
Which you can do it. I have faith in you. By the way, can I mention the fact that when you're talking about the whole Darth Vader Luke thing, you went in a direction that my mind has never thought before. Because when you said how to talk, I've always had this thought of what would have happened at the end of Return of the Jedi when Vader goes, "Sister, you have a sister. Maybe we could turn her to the dark side." And Luke goes, "It's Leia."
You've been fighting her this whole time. Like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Instead of going, "No," it's like, dude, it's Leia.
It's Leia. She hates you more than I do. Like,
it ain't happening. I just want to see the posture of Vader going, "Wait, what?
Wait, Leia? No, her dad is you're like, wait, no, her dad is such and such." Like, oh, Obi-Wan.
That's why I couldn't torture her to get the information.
She is immune to my force choke. Oh, yeah. See, I think like those little things would just kind of, it would take things in a totally different direction. It would be brilliant because I think the presentation would be really warranted. I think Luke would definitely have slipped into, you know, the dark side just a little bit more than he ever did if it was explained that the Emperor was who convinced his dad to do this horrible, terrible thing, all because his dad was trying to save his mom.
Right. You know what, Victor? I think you and I need to sit back and we just need to rewrite the Star Wars movies.
Let's go. That could be part of our presidential campaign. We will rewrite Star Wars and make you love it. Boom. There you go.
And we won't do what Disney did. We promise.
There you go. Except for the Mandalorian. We might use some parts of that. We might put the child in there. I do love
I got him.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta put the child in there. Although I do want the child to go crazy and be bad. Is that wrong?
Did you see the post I made?
Which one?
I gave the child a red lightsaber, and he had the red lightsaber. So I took it like this.
Yes.
And then there's R2D2, and I had him bashing R2D2, saying, "This is revenge. This is revenge for Yoda."
I mean, stop shocking the Yodas, man. Come on, that's what it is. That's too funny.
Okay. Russell said everyone else has awesome graphics, and mine, I got a book. It's awesome, but it's an awesome book. You play off of that.
That's important. Build off of that. Yeah, 100% build off of that.
What if R2D2 was the mastermind behind how they always got found and he was evil?
I would love that. An evil R2? Ooh, I like that a lot.
Man, now I'm just seeing Vader and R2 walking everywhere.
I mean, it would make sense because,
right?
You know, like it would be up there with if C-3PO had an evil programming in him that, you know, somehow Vader put in at some point after he turns, because he's like, I know, I built you. Like, I know how to get into you. I would like that.
Dude, makes you rethink Empire Strikes Back when Luke has R2 and they're looking for Vader and he walks through the door and the door slams. Vader's like, no, I can't see you. No.
Right.
No.
R2 is evil the whole time. That's deep. I like it.
Or R2 it's interesting.
Yeah. And that's why him and BB-8 don't really get along, because BB-8 is not evil at all.
Oh.
Like C-3PO is just naive, so he really doesn't know. But BB-8 can tell that R2 is evil. It's like the Twilight Zone of Star Wars ideas. I like it. Yeah, this needs to happen.
By the way, our ideas, hashtag we own, trademarked, whatever I gotta say.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all heard
Disney,
that.
Disney,
Yeah, not for you.
No.
Back. Bad Disney.
You've done enough, all right?
Although, unless you're going to offer us a check, then you can have it.
Yeah.
I can be bought. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I can be bought too, because I need monies. Please.
Right.
I definitely can be bought.
Yeah, I'll take half of what you give her, but make sure you give her twice what you were ever going to offer me. Think about it like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you're actually working with somebody that I happen to know. I'm just glad that I get to see him in a different light from when I originally met him.
Fair game.
But you got a new series coming out with the incredible and fascinating Seth Demos.
Yes, I do. It's called Wonders of the Weird and Beyond, and it's me. It's me too. No, let me be honest. It is the Vantage in-house iteration of the Fantastic Four. And what's crazy, I don't have it over here. It was Victor, first.
Me 3PO, I need some money.
I'm just saying. Me too, PO. That's what that is. But no, it's based off of myself, my sons, and to a big degree, my ex-wife. They first appeared in Omnibus #1, which was the very first book that I ever personally self-published all by myself. I did the artwork. It's terrible. If you go to indieplanet.com, you can actually still buy it. I don't know why I haven't taken it down. I dare you guys to do so. And if you do, I will do a free sketch on the cover just to make up for your horrible investment. But it was called Wonders of the Great Beyond back then, but we kind of switched it around and call it Wonders of the Weird. And it's so much fun. This first issue that we're doing is this brilliant sort of introductory anthology. So it starts off with a 4-page short story, like really introducing each of the characters, and they have had a long-standing history within the Vantage in-house universe. Actually, you know what? I'm about to spoil some stuff. Do you mind if I give you some spoils? Okay. So the 4 main Vantage in-house books: Wonder Care Presents the Kindergartens, Origins Unknown, The Trouble with Love, and The Samaritan. They were all written originally as standalone stories. Each one follows a different demographic. Wonder Care is all ages. Origins Unknown is teen. The Trouble with Love is young adult. And then The Samaritan is mature. So over the years, I've actually figured out a connective storyline that connects all of them. So that's part of what the Trouble with Love Kickstarter is going to show, is that all of these stories are connected. So the Wonders, as they're called, are an older superhero team. I have a team called
Time.
Yeah.
So this is the Vantage verse.
Yes, it is.
You can use that, by the way.
Listen, I'm already gonna go ahead and write that down. Vantage verse. So they are in a family of foursome that don't have powers, but they are individually just very well skilled in the things that they do. So Dr. Wonder is a scientist, inventor. We have his wife, Mrs. Wonder, who is the physical phenom of the team. I did specifically want a full-figured woman I like full figured ladies, so that's right. So she's got the curves and she's got the physicality, like hardcore. Like she's got let's see, what are some of her sports accolades? She's won the Super Bowl. Like she's actually played in men's football and won Olympic golds, multiple categories. She knows 3 extraterrestrial forms of martial arts and has learned most of the ones on Earth. There's some that she feels are redundant, so she doesn't need to learn them.
Right.
But she's adept. She can figure it out. But yeah, she's awesome. Super, super awesome. We've got Young Wonder, who is the oldest, who is a survivalist and strategist. So in many ways, he's smart like his dad, but there's so many things that he can do that his dad can't do. Because he just thinks about things in a different way than what his dad is capable of. And then there's Kid Wonder, who is the youngest of the group, who has an advanced equilibrium. Like his sense of balance is so great that he's super agile, and he's actually the team pilot because of his equilibrium. So it's a fun family thing, and it's like I can't wait for this to come out. It's going to be like a anthology Saturday morning or afternoon cartoon series when you see it. So, I'm immediately pushing for this to be like your favorite comic book series of all time. And yeah. And okay, so like I said, I was going to give you some spoilers, right? So The Wonders takes place in part of the early history of the Vantage in-house shared universe. Mrs. Wonder, after she retires, there's a situation that happens, and she decides that it is important that new superheroes that are empowered have the means to learn how to use their abilities and have a structured training in order to do so. So they are the founders of what will eventually become WonderCare. So everything is connected.
Nice. I was just writing down spoilers at 56:03 so I can actually put it in the description when I post this up on YouTube. Spoilers from here.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Yes. So, with working with Seth is a dream. He is a phenomenal creator. His storytelling is super dope. I love his cartoony style. It adds to the flavor of what we're aiming for. Very kind of, it's a cross between like, I'll say like Dogman, Captain Underpants style, and like Guts. So it's right within that scholastic YA sort of, area of the stories that we're telling, and it's going to be amazing. But like, the first issue, we've got, space dinosaurs. We've got there's an attempt to assassinate the president that's told in a book. We've got, skydiving into a giant birthday cake and zombie ninjas. So we've got it all in this first issue, and it's amazing. Yeah, that's right. Space dinosaurs, presidential assassination plots, skydiving into birthday cakes, and zombie ninjas. So
I want to skydive into a birthday cake.
I know, like no one has ever done that. And I need to understand why, but we're gonna do it in a comic, definitely.
I walked back to the room and didn't know you were talking about it.
Yes, and more yes.
Bye, Russell. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes. Thank you. And good luck on any future Kickstarters.
And your book, if it's awesome, we'll do that. That's our angle.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still, because you said skydive into a birthday cake, and it just reminded me of stupid stuff that I did when I was little.
Did you skydive into a birthday cake?
No. On my 12th birthday, we lived on the second level of this house. So like the bottom level was one person's apartment. We had the top level. And I got a pool and a trampoline for my birthday. Little kiddie pool.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
So I decided that I could jump from my balcony onto the trampoline, flip over the branch of the tree, and land in the kiddie pool. Easy peasy.
What did you break?
My nose.
Yeah.
I hit the trampoline. I slammed it to the branch and landed on the concrete next to the pool.
Oh, so you missed it by that much. It was just a miscalculation.
Yeah,
it was just a slight miscalculation.
And I think that was like the second time. I've broken my nose like 6 times.
Wow. Okay.
Like there's this huge knot right here from where I've broken my nose so many times.
And there's a story for each section. Well done. Well
yeah.
done.
Normally, only one of them is a sport injury, and that was when I was playing soccer. The rest of them are all stupidity injuries.
I don't know. I think those are kind of sports too. You know, the dive to the trampoline, that's got to be a sport somewhere. It could be.
Check it out on Facebook, Richard. Rustsplode Studios.
Will do. Definitely.
He will. I promise you he will.
Yes, I will. Actually, okay, so...
And this time it won't take him 7 years to do it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, what I'm doing right now is a few like side projects that are really big on promoting indie comic stuff. So I just put up like late last night, early this morning, a new thing. So like I keep seeing these things where people are like, you have $20, you know, pick your favorite X-Men team or put together a concert with these people. And I'm like, how come nobody's doing this for indie comics? So I decided I was going to do that. So I put together a graphic, and it was like, you have 20 points. The Anti-Monitor has decided that they're going to start eating independent, you know, comic universes. So put together your independent comic superhero team to fight against them. And like, this is just volume 1. There's so many people that I couldn't include that I want to. So I'm probably going to do a few of these, but yeah, like, Russ, I will definitely check out your stuff and see about, you know, adding yours into a future installment if you're up for it. But yeah, I like to do things that kind of put independent creators in a spotlight and really kind of, you know, give them some love, because there's plenty of like love for the mainstream, lots and lots of that. But let's do something for the indie guys.
Except for poor DC right now. I'm sorry.
You're suffering.
It was a low jab, but I had to take it. I'm sorry.
It happens. I bet, you know what's weird though? I think I hope. Let me say that like this. I hope that DC takes this as an opportunity to revamp and do some really cool things. I was just watching a podcast, and I think it was a Comic Pop, and I was watching their video showcase on YouTube, and my buddy Jason Inman was on there, and they were talking about it a little bit, and they kind of said something that kind of, you know, spoke to me in a really big way of the Shonen Jump sort of model for how they think that it would work. And I'm like, oh, that could actually work really well if they do it right. Obviously, you would need to have like a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman book series always, right? But if you use those as platforms as Action Comics, Detective, and Sensational Comics, and those are anthologies that feature other stories of other, you know, DC characters, I think that would be dope, especially if you make it a little larger. So like maybe Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman comes out every month, and then maybe there's like a rotating so like a Flash.
Kind of like what they did with the Justice League Unlimited cartoon series.
Yes, absolutely. Like do that in book form and make that happen. So like Action Comics, there's certain characters that you know are going to appear in Action Comic stories. And it takes me back to the old school where they don't have to be full 20-page stories, but they can be pretty big books. And if you do like a number of people that are creating it at once, a $10 price tag on a 100-page book is not crazy. Like, I think that would be very solid. You get lots of great stories out. And it would be a lot of fun. So I really hope that something positive comes out of this whole shakeup.
I do. I mean, yeah, Marvel, of course, you know, they're owned by the thing that the mouse that really should be president of the United States, and we should
right.
We should call the star as the new national anthem.
That actually kind of works, though. When you wish. Okay, I'm sorry.
On a star. Yep, it works. I'm just saying.
It does.
You know, DC has done some things. Unfortunately, they've been overshadowed because before everything that's happened now, movies are the way to go. Mm-hmm. Live action, Marvel was destroying it. And these poor DC animated movies, which should have been your live action movies, what were you thinking?
Yeah,
are getting pushed under the thing. And let's face it, you know, DC does need to take time and refigure out what they need to do and build themselves back up. Yes. They can be a great company, and they've been in a lot of hot water, and it doesn't help that some of their sister companies like AT&T, Warner Brothers, and things that they own haven't been looking really good in the spotlight either lately.
Right. I mean, there seems to be a weird mix of misdirection, no direction, and just kind of a general mismanagement. I think that if they can kind of consolidate down into a very focused plan, they could be the most dominant like source of entertainment ever. Because like, as weird as it is, there's every facet of entertainment that could be covered under the Warner Brothers AT&T umbrella. Like, it could be there. You'd have streaming, video games, movies, comics, books, like so many different things. I don't know, like being an AT&T is the grand owner of it all. How come there's not like a app service or something like that where AT&T is pumping out free comic books every month? Let me just give you some old school digitals to anybody that's an AT&T user.
Because, I mean, right now, AT&T actually has an opportunity to do some really great things. One of the companies that they own is Rooster Teeth, which is huge on YouTube. They're gamers, and they do animation.
Come on.
Why are you not... The only thing that you did was allow them to do that Wonder Woman variant cover to help them in their time. That's not right, guys.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
And I'm sorry. I appreciate the cover for what it was trying to do, having a full-figure woman, but... doing it under the circumstances that you were under at the time doesn't look right. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to go for an African-American woman, you don't make her purple.
Yeah. It didn't read well. It didn't read well at all.
Read well. And I will be this person. Wonder Woman is Amazonian. She needs to look Amazonian.
Yes. She can be thick with muscles.
But she can't be thick with...
It doesn't work that way.
With the chicken wing.
Not the chicken wing. I love you so much. But no, you're right. You know, I think that's the thing with DC is I think they need like a solid leadership plan that says, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to be, you know, directed in the market. But they also have to have an understanding of what it is that they have. I think that's one of the biggest problems that they had with the live action stuff was they were trying to see what Marvel did and follow suit. You don't have to do that. Like, you have to look at it and recognize that Marvel was taking characters that frankly no one cared about. And so they could do all kinds of things. The DC Trinity are some of the greatest icons in comic book history. You don't have to make people like them. They just do.
Yeah. And it's not like you haven't had, you know, Iron Man. Yeah, he has a history in comics and a few guest shots on some animated shows, and that's all that he had. And other than people like me who were always into the bad boys, no one knew who he was.
Right.
I knew he was a drug-taking, alcoholic, womanizing bleep hole.
Yep.
Okay, I get this. I get
all
this.
Of that.
I know, normally I don't censor myself, but I'm trying to be kind to Victor.
Oh, you're so sweet. I thought you were just doing it because it was early.
No.
Oh, yeah, you don't censor yourself for me.
I dropped an F-bomb before we even started, remember?
I mean, that is true. You did.
And yes, you will. It does say for mature audiences only because, yeah, I do drop cuss words, and there are, when I play games, man.
That's why you are so genius about creating the throw buddies. That's
my thromies.
Thromies. Yes, genius. Absolutely,
I love these.
Genius.
By the way, thromies, $5 plus shipping and handling. When you're upset, whether you're working on your artwork and you don't want to throw your pencils, you're working on that video game, you can't get past that boss, don't throw your controller, throw me.
There you go. Boom. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thanks for the segue.
You're very welcome. You know what I'm saying?
For inquiries, go to Facebook at Amanda Gilliam Presents.
Boom. Order 2 of them. Thromies for a friend.
And commercial.
But it was a tasteful commercial. It was very, very important. But yeah, man, I think like we just gotta, lean into the greatness that these characters are, what they represent. I do think it was a mistake to have to build up to the Justice League. Justice League is made up of some of the most iconic characters of all time. Just start with Justice League. It's fine.
Yeah, it made no sense. You had the Justice League, you had Justice League Unlimited, you have the old Super Friends cartoons, you have all these comics. Come on, I still have the old 45s of these characters.
Yes.
You have so much to go on. You should, I should never have to see another Superman or Batman origin story ever.
No, you really shouldn't. Unless you're going to actually change it, we don't need to see it.
Now, if you want to show me the Bruce and his mom get killed and Mr. Wayne is the one that's alive, and we're going into that alternate universe, I'll allow it.
You gonna do some Flashpoint on him? You want to do some Flashpoint? I'm with you. But
no.
I like it. But yeah, I think that's definitely what, I hope is on the horizon for DC. As I've talked about with Seth on Hall of Justice, subscribe. Commercial again. I think that DC Universe as an app platform or streaming platform, that being alive and not well, but alive when they launched HBO Max, that was a mistake. Obviously, you had two competing, entities right there. So start to bring those things together. Let's have a Crisis on Infinite DC and start whittling down all these different universes, bring them down into one set location and make it work like that. I think
take your time. Stop trying to be Disney. Stop trying to be Marvel. Stop trying to compete. Take your time.
Right.
Sometimes people get late to the game, but can be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely
because
true.
I'm going to be one of these people. Other than The Mandalorian, I hate Disney Plus. I don't like it.
I'm not mad at that. Talk to me. Why? Why is that?
You can't dislike anything to get it off of your screen. Because, heaven forbid you not like something Disney touched. Two, it's just, I guess I'm so used to Netflix. You would figure with so many people liking Netflix, and I love the way how Netflix sets it up. I can dislike. It shows me recommendations based off of my likes and my dislikes.
Right.
Sometimes they get it. A lot of times they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. Here, watch Tiger King. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I refuse to watch that show. I
haven't watched it either, so I totally understand.
But Disney, it's like I've watched Hamilton 4 times in the last week.
I'm not mad at that.
No, neither am I.
Yeah.
Hamilton is great, but let's face it, for me, it's all about the Mandalorian. And there have been things, but it's like, hey, here, you watch this Star Wars, so you want to watch all the Star Wars. Well, I don't like these Star Wars, and I don't like these Star Wars, and I don't want to watch your Star Wars. No, Tiger King Unite. It's like, I don't want to watch Star Wars on yours. I want to watch my Star Wars because I have original VHSs, and I'm going to watch it because I don't like the special editions. I don't care for the prequels. And again, people who keep going, but Revenge of the Sith is phenomenal. No, you're just remembering the last fight scene. You don't remember anything else from that movie. I'm right.
Boom, 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 boom. All the shots fired. I'm not mad at you. Not mad at you at all.
And it's just like, let me pick and choose. Can I make a list without having to watch it first to have a list made? Something. Give me something to put in, make it look like it's my page and not just some random stuff you threw up and went, this is what we want you to watch.
That's a really good one. # my Disney Plus. That's the thing it's lacking. That's good.
It really is. It looks just like we want you to watch this, so you have to watch this, and it feels like it's throwing it in my face. Where Netflix is like, based off of what you've watched and the things that you've watched in the past and your likes, this is what we think you might like.
That's a solid algorithm, man.
And so no, I don't like Disney Plus. I also don't like the fact for some reason Disney Plus on my PS4 does not allow me to skip my screens properly.
Really? Ooh,
so like if I watch Disney Plus on the PC, I can see the little blocks as I scroll past. I can't do that on my PS4. I could do that on Netflix, but I can't do it on my PS4 for Disney Plus for some reason.
Ooh, yeah, that's no good.
That needs to be fixed. All right. Because when I'm trying to skip past something that I don't like,
you're trying to skip. I don't need to stop on it.
I don't want to stop. I don't want to go, okay, well, how much did I miss? No, I want to go boop, boop, boop. Okay, they're off the screen. Let's go.
Right. Good points. HBO Max, I hope you're listening.
Fix it.
Let's make that happen. Because I really do need like Justice League Unlimited to be on HBO Max, like not now, but right now, so I can just watch that. But yeah,
I will say this: when it comes to DC, the Harley Quinn cartoon that they have going on is actually really good.
I have not seen that, and I've heard such good things, so I have to watch that one.
Yes, you have to watch that one. Okay. You definitely do.
All right.
I'll be honest, I watched it because back in April we were supposed to have Jim and Paul Amati and Amanda Connor.
Oh, that's right.
City. And so I was actually learning stuff because I really wanted to invite them to the podcast after getting to know them.
Of course.
But, well, COVID.
and
I'll be honest. I'm so everybody goes, well, why don't you get celebrities? Y'all don't really know me. When it comes to actually talking to, like, writing out, I'm so nervous to ask somebody that's famous, would you come be on my little itty bitty podcast for only like 10 people?
Do it anyway. Come on. You never know. You never know.
You never know. You really don't.
Yeah.
You really don't. And you know, you give me courage, and
I'm trying. I just want you to have fun. And I think you would have a great time, and I think they would have a great time. So you should definitely do it.
Yeah. Look, guys, if you're famous and want to be on something that's not your conventional podcast, come here. Because I'm not going to hound you about, oh, this. We're just going to sit back, have a conversation. You just tell me what you're into. You into anime, we talk about that. You into Star Wars, we got like that. That's the one thing that I love about my podcast is I try to make it like, oh, we're just chilling and hanging out. You know, chilling AGP. You know?
That's it. That's how we do it. It's kind of hang loose.
As a creator, I'm sure you've been on many a podcast, and the ones that I don't even like listening to are the ones that are like, oh, we have Victor Dandridge here. Who are you? What do you do? What got you into comedy? All right. If you could have superpowers, what are they? All right. Go to his websites. All right. Bye.
There's no personality. There's no connection there. No connection there.
What the hell is that? Like, seriously?
It's a living questionnaire. It's a survey that a person is just going to speak at you rather than just have you fill out online. That's what it is.
It's like, okay, you could have done that, and you could have done that, just emailed them, got the answers to your question. That's what those interviews should be done. That's an interview. This is a podcast. This is about having fun, making your guests, you know, you get to talk a little bit about yourself so they get to know your personality, because you're also trying to bring them into your show and want them to always come and see you. But you also want to give time for your guest and get them, you blend it with conversations, right? And nerding out and segueing into the work that they do.
That's it. You make it easy. That's the formula. Secret sauce. She just gave it to you.
Just do that. It's easy. It's fun. You know, we've covered the 3 things that you said that you wanted to cover. Yep. And we've covered so many other different topics.
We're still chatting. Yeah. I love it.
The process.
Yeah, that's right.
So I am going to segue real quickly.
Yeah.
We've talked many things about some of the stuff and how your books have shown representation. Mm-hmm. They also are dealing with things that are going on with today's day and age, especially here in 2020. A lot of people out there are upset at a lot of the media because they're like, oh, they're showing these gay couples, or they're showing this, or or why did they have to change this character to that? Right. My first question for you is, do you think it's important that shows like My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Steven Universe, that are showing diversity and that a person can love someone of the same sex, are important and should be shown in today's society?
So it's a mixed bag in terms of my answer. So what I'll say is, in terms of general representation, 100%. However, I do put in a caveat that age appropriateness should also be a part of it, right? So any show that I think would be aimed at like a 10-year-old should stay away from any sort of romantic relationship behaviors or conversations, because it's not really appropriate for a 10-year-old. So whether it was like, as much as I love, you know, the Disney movies, right? Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. The truth is that those characters, despite the fact that most of the time we present them to children, those characters are grown. So them having a romantic relationship makes perfect sense because they're grown. If you are having a show that's geared towards kids, that showcases kids, features kids, we don't need to see them in a romantic relationship, because that's not where they are. That's not the point. And it is forcing them to have to deal with sexuality in a way that might be way too soon for their maturity level, and that skews a lot of stuff. So that becomes a very like tricky one where I think for Steven Universe is tricky for me because I think Steven plays young, but the Crystal Gems are clearly older, so they have established relationships. It works for them in that capacity. The only concern that I have is that Steven being so young, does that skew who the audience is that's paying attention to it. If it was like, my daughter's 11, from 11 forward, I would be totally fine with that, because I think that there is an understanding, your body is changing, your interests are changing, and you are going to be more cognizant of romantic, ties to people. So in that regard, show as much healthy relationships as you can, so that these kids get into their head, that it is okay to love who I love and find, something in that. But when it's younger, that's the thing that I'm like, it over sexual. I'm always fearful of over sexualization, no matter how they show it, whether it's heteronormative or not. If it's over sexualized for a younger audience, I always have an issue with that. I actually just saw that Netflix actually got in trouble. They had to apologize because they have a movie coming up called Cuties, where
the little twerking girl.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's kind of a super sexualization of little kids. I'm against that. Like, that's
So basically, like, My Little Pony friendship is magic.
Right.
They have relationships, but it's all mainly friendships. So
Right.
for you, it works real well, and they don't actually show that they actually have relationships
Right.
till the finale when they're older.
Right. And that works, like, because they are in fact older characters. Now, like, if they were younger ponies, that would be my concern, is that it's not whether or not you're showing somebody being gay or not. It's, why are you pushing romantic relationships on little kids? That's the only issue that I have, because little kids shouldn't be their focus, whether it's hetero relationships, homosexual relationships, relationships, any of those things. I'm like, not for the kids. That's not the necessity. But when you're dealing with older characters, I'm okay with that, because that is the reality of the world that we live in, and it should be celebrated. That difference should be celebrated.
Right. And of course, and it still comes down to the matter of, if you're the parent and you don't want your kid watching it, A, you're depriving your kid of actually learning something depending on their age, and B, it's your responsibility to go, you can't watch this.
Yep.
Because a lot of parents are like, oh, well, these cartoons are teaching my kids these lessons.
Why are you letting them?
Well, obviously, you're not going to be watching VeggieTales anytime soon.
It's funny because I actually had a conversation. It was about a year ago. My daughter, who was only 2 at the time, we were watching Daniel Tiger, and they were teaching how if you're mad, it's okay for you to stomp your foot like 3 times or something when you're mad. And I'm like, ooh, this was not created by black creators, because you can't do that in a black household. I don't care what you do. I'm 38 years old. I know not to stomp my foot if I'm mad at my parents. But it was one of those things where, as a conversation point, I see the show, what they're trying to do. I had a conversation with my daughter and said, don't do that. Like, no. I get what they're trying to tell you. It's better than you hitting someone or you yelling or anything like that. But even that sort of temperamental outburst can get you in trouble. So don't do that. No, but that's because I'm watching alongside of her. I'm not just putting her in front of the TV and walking away and she comes out of whatever she comes out with. I'm there. I'm with her watching it, so that way I can see what she's learning and maybe learn something myself. I saw on there somebody mentioned Legend of Korra. 100%.
Yep.
100%. We were just talking about that literally the other night. It was my 11-year-old, my 16-year-old, my 17-year-old, and we were talking about the difference of things, because Aang and their crew were young. They were at most 14 years old. When Korra starts, she's 17. She's a grown-up. So exploration of grown-up things is fine. And we even saw in the Aang cartoon series that his growth of relationship with Katara happens over time. He had to grow. He got older. And then, towards the end, as he's now going from this 12-year-old little boy in that 12-year-old mindset of girls are stinky and watch me ride this gust of wind, I like this girl. I've gotten to know her. I like her. And now I understand what that means. And
then she runs up with Prince Zuko, and we all get the ending that we really wanted.
I think that her and Zuko get together in Korra, but that's just me. I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, there are rumors that she leaves Aang, and that her and Zuko got together for a little bit, which
I'm just saying.
Fire Lord. But she kind of has some of her
she does. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you got to give something to a man who takes a lightning shot from his sister to save you.
I mean, he directed that around his heart just for Katara to live right there. But, you know, and I do think that, like, Avatar The Last Airbender really does something interesting, especially in the presentation of Toph and her interest in Sokka, because it does play on the notion that girls do mature faster than boys. Absolutely. Toph is clearly younger, but she somewhat has a interest, seemingly romantic interest in Sokka, and he addresses it with like, no, you know, I can't, you know, be this to you. I can't. This isn't appropriate. This isn't right. And it works. Now, when they got older, I think Sokka might have hit her up. I'm not gonna lie. I think he did.
Even though, you know, it'd be nice to know what happened between those, like who got with who. I mean, if you have to break it down, yeah, Toph is that girl lit.
Toph the best. Toph the best.
She's, like, my favorite episode is the one where they're gonna go see the play, and this big old dude comes out. She's like, "Yeah, that's me.
That's me." That's me. Like, you're being played by a man. It's like, who else could try to match me? Like, it'd have to be a dude. What are you talking about? Of course. You see me
so
here?
Great. It's such a great episode because, you know, you watch everybody else getting angry except for like Toph and Sokka, who's like, "Oh, I gotta go give you some pointers. Yeah, your one line isn't good enough."
Here you go, do this, and he's like, "Oh, these are good." Like,
but, yeah, and I like the Legend of Korra. I do. You do have to step away from The Last Airbender, though, because she's not Aang, guys. I am so sick and tired of people trying to compare her to Aang. She's not Aang. Right. All right. Aang ran and hid himself in an iceberg. All right.
For 100 years.
For 100 years. Korra busts through a wall and goes, "I'm the Avatar. Get over it."
Boom.
2 different personalities.
Very, very different. Very different. It's so weird to see people make the argument of who would win or who was a better avatar. Is like all of the avatars had failures in different places. All of them did. You know, when you look at Roku, he had an issue where he trusted Sozin in a way that he shouldn't have. Like, his instinct should have told him, like, don't trust that dude. That dude is trash. But he did anyway, and that was a mistake. That, like, Roku could have stopped the 100-Year War on his own before it ever started, let alone what Aang could have done only 12 years into it. Everybody had their flaws. Everybody.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I'm the Avatar. Get over
it. They did. You know, because it was that whole thing. I love it. Because, like, well, are you sure? You know, we've gotten false leads before. How do we know yours is? And she comes in, water bending, earth bending, fire bending. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's her. Okay. Okay. We got you.
It's so great. And yeah, you're right. There have been lots of people that have had issues, you know, like Kyoshi. She killed a guy.
Sure did.
She straight up said, "I killed him."
Yep. You know, and there's so many different aspects of it that are great. But going back to what you were saying, they take the age audience as though it grows and addresses things continuously in a mature manner as it's appropriate. Like, everything about it is not just looking at it and saying it's a cartoon, so it's immediately for kids. No, the characters start off at a certain place and they are, you know, I mean, literally everybody is instructed as though they're kids. When Zuko first starts, Iroh is with him as a guardian. Like, he literally is like, "No, you're coming with me, and I'm low-key keeping you out of trouble. Even though you're the prince, and I want to be able to do this." And he's like, "No, we're not doing that. Like, you don't just get to do this. Even because you're the prince, you are a child, and you don't understand what you're doing. So the answer is no." I appreciate that. As a parent, I'm like, this is a great showcase.
I have no idea what you two are saying.
What are they talking about? Who said it?
Someone said, when is the Das Kapital reading group?
I don't know.
And then Cassie is speaking a language that I don't know.
It's German?
It's German. She speaks German.
Okay.
She can't speak a normal language that I can understand, like Ewokese or Klingon or something like that. No.
No R2 beeps. Don't speak that. You gonna bust out some German on me? German. I got all this Klingon over here. I'm over here speaking Romulan.
All right, cool. Because I'm like, I'm like sitting here going, Brain no compute. Need input. Need input.
Disassemble.
Oh my gosh, I love those movies.
They're fantastic. They're fantastic. Actually, again, shout out to Hall of Justice. Fisher Stevens was on there, and he actually talks about his role in Short Circuit. And you guys should check that episode out because it's pretty brilliant. His whole talking point of how, yes, he recognizes that in today's culture we would call that brown face, and he would probably be canceled. But it was very important that he did so because for a number of years he was the only positive presentation. Shout out to you, Seth. That's my guy. He's on it. The only possible presentation of Indian people that was in film or television. So that's dope stuff. Definitely check that out. I like that Seth was on that. I'm so proud of you, bro.
Good job, Seth.
That's right.
Yeah, it is interesting because you had there was that, and then what was the other one? Where the kid, it didn't even look like he was African American anyway. James Earl Jones was in it. He had to get into the black college because his parents wouldn't pay for his college.
Soul Man.
Soul Man.
Soul Man. Yes.
I was across the room listening to her rant to get the link.
Try to make you rush, bro. But yeah, Soul Man, another great one. Great one.
I mean, the movies are actually good, and you just have to. And I think it's kind of sad that our society. Hey, Linkmaster, that our society goes, well, you can't watch it because it did this. Right. But it was a product of its time. You got to understand the time of it. Yes. And like a lot of places are going, oh, we have to take down all of our old stuff because it's not politically correct now. But you have to remember where it came from. Stop.
Yeah, there are things that I understand taking down, not for the sake of saying like, well, this represents something bad. Like, okay, so for Confederate statues, I feel strongly about taking them down for no other reason than they lost. Why do we have statues of them when they lost? That's not, I wouldn't commemorate that. You took an L. You don't get a statue for losing, okay? Those are like the original participation trophies of history. And I don't want no parts of that. Like, you either win or you get nothing. That's me. But yeah, movies that have a tone where maybe something that we would find a little bit insensitive, aggressive, whatever, was more allowed at the time, don't necessarily lose the context or the greatness of the stories that they teach you. Soul Man was all about defying stereotypes, like across the board. That was brilliant. I actually got to ask C. Thomas Howell if he thought that they could ever remake that movie. And his response was the greatest ever. He just died laughing and said, no effing way could they ever do that. And then, of course, he stops and goes, how old are you? And obviously, I was like 36 at the time. He's like, are you old enough to know that movie? I was like, I love that movie.
Love that movie. Like, I love that movie.
Love that movie.
And the thing is if people thought it was that big of a deal back then, there's no way you would have gotten James Earl Jones to do that movie if he thought there was something wrong with it.
Come on. Because the whole point was, again, all the things that you know or you say about people that don't have to be true at all. Like, and that was my favorite scene at the end when he comes out and everybody, no wonder. It's so funny.
Even though I still want to know because I looked at him and went, he ain't black.
His curl wasn't right. You could tell his curl was not right.
Your curl was not right. You're not the right shade. You look like somebody from the Middle East with a really bad hairdo.
His Jerry curl was all the way wrong.
No, it was totally wrong. But as society keeps trying to remove these things, dude, if you all touch my Blazing Saddles, I'm gonna have problems.
Okay, don't watch Blazing Saddles on HBO Max because they actually have like a 5-minute opener with a lady apologizing for the movie. Like, it's like this big disclaimer that when it came out, this is what this was. And it's like, you undermine the entirety of the movie by doing, just let it be.
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that I want to bring up. Comedy nowadays. Everybody's so busy tiptoeing. Dude, Richard Pryor never tiptoed.
Nope.
Mel Brooks didn't tiptoe.
Nope.
George Carlin didn't tiptoe.
Oh,
Robin Williams didn't tiptoe.
Right.
These people didn't tiptoe, and they're the greatest comedians of all time. And they hit all the things in those times that were taboo.
Yes.
Guess what? making fun of situations like this, A, does bring it to light, and B, people can laugh.
Yes. Because when something is super dark and heavy, sometimes the only weapon that you have is to laugh about it. And what's really crazy is we've gotten to a place where we don't know how to be made fun of anymore. And that's a problem, because it means that we're taking ourselves entirely too seriously, that we can't even laugh at things that we know about ourselves that we might not like, but we know are true. Like, celebrate it. It's fine. Like, laugh. Like, if somebody made a joke about, black people are way too sensitive about their seasonings, you're absolutely right. We are. We get super touchy about our
seasonings, their ribs, their barbecue sauce.
Don't play. Don't touch our radio. We do get sensitive about these things. It's hilarious. Laugh about it. Laugh. It's so much better than being angry. I can't believe you said that. Was it true though? Was it funny?
Like white people and their mayonnaise. What? I like my mayonnaise.
I like my mayonnaise. Why you got to talk? Shut up. Like that's the thing. We need to get to a place where we can laugh at ourselves all over again.
Right. We're offended by everything on principle. And it's like,
what? It ain't worth that. That's not it.
It's really not.
Let's go back to the other side a little bit.
Go. Oh, when we were talking about it's just a comedy. But what I lost train of thought because I said Blazing Saddles and started thinking of all the goofy things on there.
Oh my God.
Are we awake? We're not sure. Are we black? Yes. We're awake, but we're awfully confused.
Oh my God. Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
The best one is when he's patting him on the side. He's like, she just called me a. He's like, look, you got to listen. These are simple people. People of the lands.
That's it.
Morons.
Absolute classic. Classic, man. That's what I'm saying. The
thing is if you watch the movie as a whole, you realize they're not downing the guy. They're actually praising him for actually being black the entire time.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of the most subversive films that when you really see what the point is and not just hear the trigger words and be triggered by the words, but actually see what the point is, it's brilliant and it's beautiful.
Here's the heart of the story. A black man becomes sheriff of a town in the Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. And not Will Smith's Wild Wild West.
Right. Mm-mm. No, not at all. Not at all.
And
exact opposite.
The point of doing this was they wanted a black sheriff so they could get rid of the people at the town. The people totally reject him, constantly call him bad names. And at the end of the day, he actually saves the town and they accept him. And he's like, nah, I don't need you people.
Yeah,
you guys
I'm out.
At the beginning.
You guys, like, he has his comeuppance the entire time. Like, he was a pawn and becomes a king by the way that he presents himself in the situation. Come on, recognize.
Yeah, it's such a great movie. And there's jokes in there that, like Victor was saying, make fun of who we are. Is it true what they say about people like you? Oh, it's true.
Because it's so funny, man. And look, that goes right back to Soul Man, where the chick that he was with was like, no wonder. You're like, that's funny. That is funny. It's a continuation of the joke. It's like, laugh. You're okay. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to be laughed at.
It is.
Everybody, like, number one, you're being seen. That's number one. You're not being ignored if you're being laughed at. And if you can be a part of laughing with it, it's way better when instead of taking total. It's one thing, like, obviously there is nuance, because if somebody is actually trying to demean you and hurt you, clearly don't laugh at that. Unless you're just that cool where you're like, I don't even care that you're trying. Joke's on you. You don't have that kind of power over me. I respect that. But at the same time, like, common humanity says, like, we all have things that aren't great, and laughing about it showcases that. So live in that space, like 100% live in that space.
Right. It's I love that. It's okay to be laughed at. Yes. What Netflix did this thing where they had a couple of roasters and it was like roasting through history, and like they attacked everybody from history, and it was so brilliant. And they did this one, and like people were started getting offended, and I thought it was hilarious. It was Anne Frank, and Hitler came to roast her.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Exactly.
Like, let's hear it, especially because in roastings, the roaster always gets a chance to get them back. Like, so it's fair. It's an even platform. Comedy is the great denominator. Everyone can be made fun of. Everybody.
Except for me, because I'm awesome. No.
100%. I co-sign.
And then of course, since I haven't actually been able to talk to you, and this is something that I talk to a lot of people. What are your feelings? Like people are getting so upset because characters are becoming either a different gender or a different color. Why does it matter?
I think it matters to people because, and this is me reaching. Okay, this is me.
Yes, Victor, tell us what matters.
Let me stretch here.
Did you like that? Victor, tell us what matters.
You're so great. Comics have been, particularly geekdom as a whole, has been a refuge for people that have felt unseen, right? And they have come to this place, they know this place, and they hold on to it with total severity. So by changing it, it makes them feel unseen again, right? For whatever reason. That's a hurt that they haven't dealt with, that they need to. Now, excuse me, when something is changed for a silly reason, and when I say silly, I mean story doesn't back it up. So like there's a lot of people that were upset about Jane Foster being Thor for a few years. And they're like, well, that's stupid. She would never be Thor. And I'm like, the hammer inscription says, if ye be worthy, whosoever holds Mjolnir gets the power of Thor. They become Thor. So it could literally be anybody as long as they're worthy. Why can't it be Jane?
Right.
That's part of the story. Like literally, Donald Blake wasn't Thor. He got his power and traded places with him, essentially. Like that's the way that story worked. And that's from the inception. That's Stan Lee and Kirby. Like if you're gonna tell me that they were wrong for how they did this is just applying that same principle to them. I'm all for that. Now, when you had a character like Riri Williams, I had a problem with Riri. One, not that her name was Riri, but it was a factor. What I had a problem with was in every ounce of things, she was not a legacy character. Unlike Jane. Jane was a part of Thor's history, so her becoming Thor was a great buildup, and I was fine with that. Riri's history was, or presentation was literally built to be the black girl in the Iron Man suit. And I had an issue with the way that the story played out. For me, in my head, Riri would have never been in the suit. She would have figured out a way to drone it so that she never has to be there. She watched her friend, her father, both victims of drive-bys, wrong place, wrong time. So being somewhere where it's dangerous should always be in the mindset of how she does things. So being in the Iron Man suit, she would never want to do it because that's being in the wrong place at the wrong time. She would have figured out a way to drone it, which I think would have been far more interesting, where you have a superhero who is never actually in danger of hurting themselves. But there's all kinds of tech things that can go wrong. She loses the signal, somebody hacks it, something stops working. Any stories could happen, but she doesn't have to be in the suit. So I didn't like that. But, other things, I'm not, there's things that are cool. Like I like the idea of President Superman from Earth 23. I think it doesn't work, though, in a logistic way. When you look at Clark Kent, Clark's hair is slicked back. He's got glasses on. And truth be told, changing a person's hair can absolutely switch how you see them.
And if my Superman doesn't have a swoosh, we got an issue.
Yeah. So, Superman has his hair gets a little wilder. He's got the S. He doesn't have anything to obscure his face. So it's plausible that in terms of a disguise, it works. President Calvin doesn't have that. Like, he has his face revealed and he's the president. He's the most seen person of all time. That doesn't seem believable to me. It'd be different if like his hair changed. If, he did this and all of a sudden it's a different color. I would give it far more credence than him being the same person physically. No obscuring, no obstacle, and nobody
can live in that universe. Maybe they're
flashy thinking everybody, like that's the only way that works for me. So in terms of those things, if it doesn't make sense story-wise, I don't like it. But if you can build a great story around it, why not?
Right. If you can build a story and it makes sense, not, we have to because this is what's going on in today's society. No, don't jump on a bandwagon so you can get the sales. Do it because it's part of the story, because it moves the story forward. Like when Cap dies and Falcon takes over as Cap, that moved the story forward. You didn't even change the character. He just took over.
Right.
That's it.
That's
fine.
And you still made him Sam Wilson. So there's even parts where he's like, Steve Rogers wouldn't have done this, but I'm not Steve Rogers. So I'm going to do this. You're like, yep, I can get it. I get it 100% because you are a different person who happens to be wearing this mantle. And I can get with that 100%.
But a lot of people get really bent out of shape. Oh, they turn Johnny Storm into an African American. I have no problem with that. I would have also liked to see Sue Storm be African American, so it made a little bit more sense for the common people to understand that they're brother or sister.
So here's my funny thing about that. So when that happened, I looked in my own household. My stepson, he looks Caucasian. He is not Caucasian. His father is white, but his mother's biracial. My daughter, they have the same mom. She definitely looks African American. You see her, you know she's black. You put them together, you don't necessarily know that he is black, but they do kind of favor each other in a strange sort of way. So where he looks Caucasian, she does not look Caucasian. They are biologically brother and sister because of their mom. And it could have been done. Like it could be just that simple.
Just remember, like I said, so most people, that's why I did a little air quote thing, because I can handle whether they're actually brother and sister and maybe a separate mom or dad, or maybe one of them's adopted, or stepbrother or stepsister. Stepbrothers and sisters call each other brother and sister all the time.
All the time.
You know, but people got bent out of shape, and it's like,
of course they did. Of course they did.
Fine, whatever. And of course, I heard that they actually were going to have Sue Storm as an African American, but they're like, oh no, we can't do that. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can easily do that.
You can easily do that.
But see, they would have been like, no, we can't do that because that means that she's hooking up with a white guy. And oh my goodness, interracial love. My only thing with that was I thought, based on previous roles, they should have swapped. That Michael B. Jordan was a better candidate for Reed Richards, and Miles Teller would have been a better Johnny. That's just my perspective on some previous things that they were in, but that's it.
No, I actually can see that. Of course, you know, it'd be nice if anybody could ever get me a decent Dr. Doom, because that's my favorite villain from Marvel, and y'all keep messing him up, and I'm upset about this.
I understand. Yeah.
But it kills me because people are like, oh, you can't have Bond be Idris Elba. Why? Idris Elba would be the most amazing Bond ever.
Like, especially when people have written fan-wise an explanation. James Bond is not an actual name. 007 is a designation. So when you get to 007, your name is now James Bond.
Right.
Boom.
And have Idris Elba screwing everybody, men and women, and yay!
I would volunteer for tribute. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm right here. I'm right with you.
You know,
I bet you, me, and him. How? I don't care.
As a cisgendered heterosexual male, Idris decided he wanted to have me. Who gonna make fun of me? Who gonna be like, dude, you let Idris? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Everybody should let Idris Elba.
Yeah, I did. So
I mean.
Well, you say you wouldn't?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's what I would.
No.
You would let Idris hit? Man, what's wrong with you? You crazy. That's Idris Elba.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And he made me pancakes in the morning. Shoot. Like that.
Oh my God. Look, all I'm looking for is a guy who will make me pancakes or waffles in the morning and will watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic with me and read comics and play video games. That's all a girl really needs in her life.
Your DM is about to blow up. Your DM is about to all the way up. Because you done put down the criteria. You got to add some more to the resume than just that, because your DM is about to blow all the way up. I do it. Hey, let's go. I'll do it.
So you'd be amazed how many people go, wait, you're a brony? Yeah, I'm a brony. I love My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. It's fantastic. I cried at that season finale.
Shout out to the Pega sisters out there. Let's go. Yeah. Like, what? Applejack for life, though. That's me. That's my love. I love Applejack.
Rainbow Dash.
Hey.
You ready for this? Because she makes us all 20% cooler. She's like totally awesome. Did you see the season finale by any chance?
Yes, of course.
Oh, with her and Applejack together.
Joy. That's pure joy. That's what I'm saying.
You're a girl shock. Yeah, we're called Pegasus sisters, but that term came out after I was already like, no, I'm an instant brony.
Yeah, because brony sounds cooler because it just kind of brony just kind of happened. Pegasus sisters was built. Brony just was, you know.
Like my one sadness in my life is that I never got to get in contact with the people who do Bronies React and be on that channel and react to the My Little Pony cartoons. Like that. That's heartbreaking.
Listen, you can bring it back. There's a whole generation that will need that.
So they're keeping the channel up. So Bronies React, me. I want to join.
Right. Make that happen. Make that happen.
But,
oh my God,
going back to what we were talking about a little bit is there's a lot of people that are hung up. You hear a lot of times, oh, they can't play that character because they're not transgender. That makes no sense to me. I understand letting transgenders play, but a transgender can also play the part of this other character that's not transgender as well. Why would you pigeonhole anybody, whether straight or not?
That is one of the most dangerous mindsets ever, because what that means is you are now limiting people in their opportunities of creativity. As a black man, when you start to go down that road, you eventually get to the point where me as a black man, that's all I'm allowed to write are black male characters. I can't write a black woman. As a black man, I can no longer write. I can't write black children because I'm not that anymore. I can't write for non-black people. It becomes this closed door. It's positioned as though it's opportunity, but it's impossible to position opportunity in that regard when your goal is to play make-believe, to do things that you are not. So when the goal is to play something that you are not, as long as you're not doing something offensive as that measure, that's okay. I think, if it came down to it, if a cisgendered person was playing a trans person and they had to digitally show that they were trans, okay, maybe that would be a little bit closer to don't do that, because now you're kind of black facing this when you have to do so. But when it comes to clothes on, I am who I am, whatever, you don't have to know anything about me.
Right.
You don't have to know a single thing about me to make that work.
Here's the thing is, when it comes to these things, here's my opinion. Unless it, especially like changing the race of somebody, unless it specifically said that this person has to be this race, whoever the best actor or female actor is should get the role. Unless you're in a situation like Roots, okay? No, some white dude can't go play in Kunta Kinte, okay? That ain't gonna happen.
No. I give Matt credit. If you can figure out, if you find me the white dude that can play Kunta Kinte better than a black dude, he gets the role. And every black person that tried out for it, you get slapped in the face because you got beat on a role that you should have clearly had way more emotional gravitas for. Any of that, you should have been better. It's your fault. I'm always for empowering the individual.
I am too, but it would kind of slightly lose its meaning if it was a white guy.
It would be. Your name is Toby. It's Kyle.
No, my name's Kyle.
My name is Kyle. No. It's Toby. No, it's
John Smith.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. But it's in that vein. You're absolutely right that put the best person on the screen. That's the person that should get it.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're giving a role to somebody and obviously the live animes get a lot of this. Oh, you put a white person in there. Okay, first off, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the few anime styles that I've seen where people don't look like they're white anyway.
Right. That's very true.
I'm sorry.
Very true.
Watch Sailor Moon and tell me which one of those looks Japanese to you.
The cat.
And it was funny because I saw something in a video somewhere, and the Americans were outraged, and the Japanese go, "Okay, well, which one's better?" Well, that doesn't look like the cartoon. Why is she Asian? We draw them like this for a reason.
That's what they do. So that's where the virtue signaling has its line where it goes too far. We have to find a way to be a little bit better balanced with this mindset of inclusion, but not so much inclusion that we're missing the point of what it means to be included. It can't be a checklist, because that's not it. That's not the way it's going to work. We have to be more sensitive to how we do these things and how to showcase as many different people as possible, but at the same time, see ourselves, as I said earlier, in people that don't look anything like us, so that we are still represented in personality, in traits, and thoughts, deeds, things like that, because there is no possible way to show the total sum of human existence, because we are all so different. We have to find different things that we can relate to and recognize that there's going to be things that just ain't for us. And that's okay. Not everything has to be for everybody.
Right. And the thing is when you limit on who could do what, what is her name? She played Laverne Cox. That's her name.
Yes.
Okay. When they redid the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I love her as an actress. I think she's fantastic. Right. I love what she did in Orange is the New Black. I think she's very, strong and feminine, and I love her. I hated her in that role.
Yeah, I get that.
And the straight man, Tim Curry, still looks awesome and is amazing in that role. And he's
iconic.
And he is iconic.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like anybody in that role, because he did such a great job. I don't know that I would like anybody. I'm gonna be flat out honest.
No. There was one. I can't remember his name. And Giles from Buffy.
Really?
Rupert Giles. They did this Rocky Horror tribute thing, and he went up and he dressed up, but he didn't do like the wig or anything. Right. He just had his regular hair, but he had the whole lingerie thing on there. You've got to, oh my God, watching him sing Sweet Transvestite, you're like, Tim Curry, who?
Wow. That's a bold statement. That is a bold. Okay, I have to watch this now.
You got to find it. It showed on VH1.
Okay.
It was, but like I said, I think she's a great actress, and I would not fault her for anything. It's kind of like when people talk to me about Titanic. I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet are phenomenal actors. I hate Titanic, and I think they suck in it.
Not every role is right for the people that are in it. I mean, that's
right.
It's true.
So Titanic's just was, look, wonderful visually, right? Hilarious, like a pinball machine when everybody's dying. Sorry, I laughed so hard during that. I know that's so sad.
Really, pipe and hit the other thing.
Yeah, I got this. I just said, the setting, the lighting, the music, the costuming, all of that is great. And then who wrote that horrible script?
I'm not pointing no fingers.
I'm sorry. To me, the only good line in that entire movie, they're on the ship that's sinking, and she goes, "There's not enough lifeboats on the ship. Half of the people are going to die." And Billy Zane's character goes, "Not the better half." Oh, there's my entire movie right there.
And him. Yeah.
Him.
Yeah. Yeah. There it is. There it is.
I can't hate Billy Zane. I just can't hate that. I fell in love with that man in Tales of the Crypt. Demon Night.
Demon Night. Oh my God. Good call. Good call.
You humans ain't worth the flesh you're printed on. Thank you for the greatest comeback that I will use for the rest of my life. And I do. If I hate you, I hate someone, I will tell you they are not worth the flesh they're printed on, and I will not hesitate to do it.
I like it.
Oh.
I apologize. I'm getting a signal. My lady needs to be able to come in and go to work. So
okay. 2 hours. We said 12. We went 2.
Yeah.
Of course, as always, Victor. We got to do this again.
Yes.
And can we not make it another 7 years?
I mean, let's make it like way less than that. Like not even just like another 7. Like let's see if we can do this again before the year is up. How about that?
Dude, I'm right here, baby. And of course, where can everybody find you, dear?
Oh my God, I'm everywhere. I'm in your hearts and minds. You can find me at Vantage Inhouse on all forms of social media. Definitely visit vantageinhouse.com to see the awesome books that I put out there. You can also check out U Cre-8 Comics. That's the letter U, CRE, the number 8, comics.com, where you can see all the fun projects that I'm doing. Be working with schools a lot on the visual platform this year, doing some amazing things. We have a Facebook page. It's definitely like that. You can definitely listen to me on the Hollow Justice podcast, which you can find where all good podcasts are. That's through Apple, through Spotify, all the great places. Definitely find me every week Black, White, and Red All Over on comictown.tv. It's a video review series where with Comictown, Ryan Seymour, the owner of Comictown, we're reviewing the brand new books that are coming out. And look for my Kickstarter when it launches, baby, because I'm gonna need that funded so we can get you all the goodness.
Well, that means you'll just have to come here and we'll have to do like the Kickstarter. Let's do this.
Done and done.
And of course, everybody, if you enjoy what you see here on AGP, we have more creators coming on. We also do live gameplay. So we're playing games like Grand Theft Auto 5, Fall Guys, Dead by Daylight, Fortnite. If you like to join in on that, come and check us out. You can follow us on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Of course, here on Twitch, please help the channel so we can continue bringing you these amazing podcasts with amazing creators like Victor by following or subscribing. Remember, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe and it costs you nothing. All you have to do is link it to the AGP Twitch account. And of course, there's 5, 10, and 25. And when you subscribe, you get to watch this content ad-free. You get emotes and badges, which let's go ahead and show off these amazing emotes that you could get, because we have the money emote right there. Boom, money, 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 money.
Right.
Money. We have one that was dedicated to the sponsors of AGP for helping us get this going. So at the bottom, there's Gym City, Champion City, Hazard Productions, and Seth Forney Illustrations. And then my personal favorite, one of my babies, Little Miss Shigo herself. This is my dog emote that we did. Booyah.
Aww.
It's so cute. Her collar says AGP.
I love it.
So, of course, guys, thank you all so very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Oh, and check out YouTube. We have Ark Survival, Primal Fear. We got some animals that need some names. I need your help. So subscribe, thumbs up, and comments. We love you all. Victor, thank you so much. I love having you here. And we will see you all on the next one. Say bye-bye.
Bye.